Is that a polar bear? What is he doing here in Ohio? That must be the polar bear vortex. That's right, the polar vortex is on the way, possibly bringing with it some ridiculously cold temperatures. We've got that and lake effect snow ongoing in upstate New York, plus the latest on the California wildfires and when conditions are going to get better. All that in the forecast starting now. This polar bear is getting too close, so I'm getting out of here. Across the United States, weather warning wise, we're fairly quiet. We've got some winter weather advisories here for a clipper system that's moving through Michigan. We've got some lake effect snow warnings up here in upstate New York for all that snow we're going to talk about in that just a second. And then our other area of concern right now is in Southern California, where we've got a smattering of weather warnings. Taking a closer look, we've got fire weather warnings, we've got high wind warnings, we've got wind advisories, all in Southern California, where dangerous fire conditions continue to persist. We'll get to that in the back half of the video. All in all, though, the rest of the United States is fairly quiet. We've got some rain showers moving through Florida. Those should be gone in the next 24 hours. And then we've got some snow continuing to move here through the Northeast as that clipper drops a little bit of snow and the lake effect snow machine ramps up in a big way. Speaking of that lake effect snow, let's go ahead and zoom in up here to upstate New York, where we have several pretty strong lake effect snow bands. Further west in Michigan, we've also got some lake effect snow, albeit a little bit weaker moving off, and that's why we've got those winter weather advisories in southwestern Michigan, also in northern Michigan. Now, looking in the next 24 hours for the lake effect snow, it's going to continue well into the day on Tuesday. I'm going to pause it here. This is 12 noon. Our lake effect snow machine is ramping up in a big way, and that's going to continue for most of the day. The band's going to go south and north as the wind slightly shifts direction, but it's going to stick around until the winds go out of the north on Wednesday. Notice how Wednesday morning is when we lose that lake effect snow band. That's when that snow is going to end. Now, by the time we're all said and done, we are talking about feet, not inches. We're the bullseye just south of Watertown. We're expecting 2 to 3 feet of snow. And then just south of Buffalo, we're expecting about 1 to 2 feet of snow. Now, that's a lot of snow. That's like almost half my height. I'm a tall dude. I'm 6'4". Now, the other big story here is the cold and the polar vortex, which is coming back. I like to call it the polar bear vortex. And it is going to be coming back with a vengeance here. Look at this. This is about as blue as it gets here. This means well below average temperatures are projected for basically the entire United States, with tens of millions of people at risk for significantly cold temperatures. This is going to be colder than anything we've had this season. 8 to 14 day, more of the same. That cold is going to stick around. The polar bear vortex is coming and here to stay. Now, how much cold are we talking? Well, this is the next 14 days. Notice all the green, the purple, the blue. That is significantly colder than average temperatures. The more purple you see, the more cold it's get. We like to call it the Barney cold. Barney's taken over a lot of the United States because we've got wildly cold temperatures on the way. Let's time this out. We've got cold blast number 1. This is going to be Tuesday, Wednesday for the Ohio Valley, the Midwest. Going to get a big blast of cold air into this region. We're talking temperatures of 10 to 20 degrees below normal. That's just the first round, guys. Watch as we go late into this week. We do have some warmer than normal temperatures that move in, say Friday, Saturday, as a low is going to move through, possibly bring some rain. And then check it out over the weekend. Look at all that purple filtering in from Canada. And look at this. This is cold blast number 2, and it's going to be even stronger than number 1. I'm talking temperatures of 20 to 30 degrees below normal in some areas, with a huge swath of the country from North Dakota all the way down to Alabama, all getting in on this cold action. And of course, one of the coldest spots, Ohio. Woohoo! If this were to become a reality, this would be a big time problem for the South, who doesn't normally see cold like this. I mean, look at this. We're talking about actual temperatures of below 0. Look at this. Ohio, -10, -9. Up in Michigan, -14, -12. Those are actual temperatures, not wind chills. Now, we're a long ways out from this, so these numbers could change, but I'm telling you guys, the potential is there for some ridiculously cold air. It's the likes of which they've seen up in the Arctic, where the polar bears are. This polar bear vortex means business. That was my polar bear impression. Did you guys like it? This seems like the perfect time to remind you, make sure you hit the subscribe button and smash the like button. Also, turn your notifications to all, so you're always getting all the videos. Back to the polar bear vortex and whatever else is going on with this video. Now, after we get cold shot number 2, watch this as we go into late January. We've got another cold blast on the way with temperatures possibly even colder than number 2. But this is the edge of the model guidance, so we have a long ways to go before this happens. But I'm telling you, when we get cold air outbreaks like this, they tend to stack on top of each other. So I would not be surprised if the end of January we get another cold shot of polar bear Arctic infused air. Now looking at our winter storm threat, we really don't have any for this week. So if you guys do remember from the last video, we did talk about the potential for a winter storm between Friday, January 17th and the 19th. But a lot of them have kind of backed off, at least for that weekend of Saturday and Sunday. But with this pattern and all that cold air, any moisture that we get from the Gulf and any sort of low that does form has a big potential for becoming a winter storm. Looking at the GFS, it's a little bit more bullish with that lake week storm. I'm going to pause here, Sunday, January 19th, and it does have a storm forming off the coast in the northeast. There definitely is some potential for that. So I think our winter storm threat that we talked about in the previous video has now just gotten bumped back a couple of days. Now beyond this week, I'll give you a little bit of a sneak peek. With this pattern and all that cold air in place, we are going to get a couple of chances for winter storms. The next 2 weeks is going to be pretty active, especially if this ridge stays in place here out west. We're going to see continued shots of cold air into the United States, and we're also going to see a lot of winter storms that try to form right along this boundary and move up into the Ohio Valley and then northeast. I'm telling you, this is the type of pattern you want to see for big time cold and big time snow. I'm going to be keeping my eyes on this polar bear vortex, and you should too. If you do see any polar bears in your state, be sure to tweet at me at StormCat5 on Twitter. Also, probably call animal control and maybe run. Actually, never mind. Please don't run away from a polar bear. Do not run. And I wouldn't huff or hiss either. Hey, you learn something new every day. Now onto the fires. We've got 3 big fires burning right now. Got the Palisades fire at 23,000 acres, the Hearst fire at 800 acres, and the Eaton fire at over 14,000 acres. These are absolutely massive fires that are still burning and have a long way to go before they're contained. Now, the big question is, when are conditions going to get better? And unfortunately, things are going to get worse before they get better this week. Tuesday, we once again have a huge area of extremely critical, with an even bigger area than Monday of critical. Monday and Tuesday of this week are going to be the worst fire conditions that we have, as those Santa Ana winds ramp back up from the weekend. And with those winds being from the northeast, our humidity is going to be dangerously low. That, along with those strong winds of 50 to 60 to 70 miles an hour, getting close to hurricane force at times, is a recipe for disaster. Now, Wednesday, the wind should die down some, which means instead of being extremely critical, right now the National Weather Service only has a critical risk, which still means fires could start and spread, but conditions won't be as favorable as Monday and Tuesday. Now, things could start to get better on Thursday. We're still going to have critical conditions, but this orange here means conditions aren't looking as potent as they were Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Now, when are winds going to be the strongest here? Well, Monday overnight into Tuesday morning, winds are going to ramp up in a big way, gusting 40, 50, 60, maybe even 70 miles an hour up to hurricane force. And then going to the day on Tuesday, our winds are going to stay strong throughout a majority of the day until about Tuesday night. They start to die down a little bit, but these greens and yellows, these are still gusts of 30 to 50 miles an hour. Then going Tuesday into overnight and Wednesday, the winds stay pretty strong. But look at this, Wednesday afternoon and evening, our winds really start to die down. Going into Thursday morning and Thursday during the day, notice how our winds have basically decreased to zero. That's where our relief is going to come in towards the end of this week on Thursday and Friday into the weekend. Wind should shift out of the southwest, which should help push some moisture onshore, and that could help alleviate a lot of these bad fire conditions and allow those firefighters to get any fires that are still ongoing under control. Bottom line, guys, if you do live out in California, you know someone lives out in California, especially near LA, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we're going to have extremely critical fire conditions with some really strong winds and some very dry weather. So guys, everyone watching this video, please say a prayer for California. What they have gone through is absolutely horrific. No, people of California, this storm cat has got your back. Oh my gosh, he's back. It's the polar bear vortex. Everybody run. That's all I got for the video. The winds are too strong. This is StormCat5, and I'll see you on the next one.